56 countries received 678 ex-detainees of Guantanamo Bay.
GBC honored for promoting public awareness on hazards of fire.
And UN accuses Burundi security troops of gang raping women.
Live from the studios of GBC24 here in the capital, this is News Hour, and my name is Selike Makola Chepalu.
And mine is Akpene Avo Ajaja. Clement Sam is also here with us. He will do the sign language translation of the news.
And now the news in detail. The New York Times reports that 56 countries around the world are recipients of 678 ex-detainees of the U.S. detention center at Guantanamo Bay.
In all, the U.S. kept a total of 780 detainees at the center.
The Gitmo ex-detainees were never tried and convicted by a competent court of law. In the wake of the 9/11 attacks, the U.S. picked the suspects and detained them on suspicion of having links with the terrorist group Al-Qaeda.
Napoleon Atokito has compiled the list of recipient countries of ex-Guantanamo Bay detainees and now reports.
678 ex-Guantanamo detainees sent to 56 countries for rehabilitation. Destinations of 10 of them have not yet been determined. Below is the breakdown of the dispersal. Afghanistan 203, Saudi Arabia 124, Pakistan 63, Yemen 22, Algeria 17, Britain 15, Morocco 13, Kuwait 12, Sudan 12, Tajikistan 11, Albania 11, Oman 10, Kazakhstan 9, France 9, Slovakia 8, Iraq 7, Russia 7, Georgia 6, Uruguay 6, UAE 6, Qatar 6, Palau 6, Bahrain 5, Spain 5, Jordan 5, Bermuda 4, Bosnia 4, Turkey 4, Germany 3, Somalia 3, Belgium 3, Switzerland 3. The following countries had 2 each: Libya, Ghana, Portugal, El Salvador, Iran, United States, Ireland, Australia, Tunisia, Italy, and Mauritania. The countries which had 1 each are Hungary, Uganda, Maldives, Bulgaria, Cape Verde, Bangladesh, Latvia, Canada, Sweden, Egypt, Chad, Estonia, and Denmark.
Moving on, the Dean of the School of Continuing and Distance Education at the University of Ghana, Professor Yao Hinibasechi, has stressed the need to incorporate the use of ICT in healthcare. He said ICT is critical in the promotion of universal health with the ability to change and modernize healthcare. Professor Yao Hinibasechi was speaking at the closing ceremony of the annual New Year School in Accra.
The 67th New Year School and Conference opened at the University of Ghana, Legon, to discuss and create the awareness of the use of information and communication technology, ICT, in improving healthcare delivery in the country. The conference created the platform for the discussion on how the nation could deal with the challenges confronting the health sector through the integration of ICT. It was widely acknowledged that ICT is a game changer and plays a critical role in ensuring quality and universal health care and would require maximum efforts by all stakeholders in the health sector to make it a reality. This year, 128 participants took part in the school. Dean of the School of Continuing and Distance Education, of the University of Ghana, Legon, Professor Yao Ohenebasechi, said ICT has been identified as a major tool in creating an enabling environment in the health sector.
The School of Continuing and Distance Education will continue to develop collaborative strategies with other academic units, organizations, and agencies to deliver programs in occupational continuing education.
The participants were awarded with certificates.
The Deputy Minister for Education in charge of tertiary institutions, Mr. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has inspected ongoing projects at the University for Professional Studies, the Accra College of Education, and the Secretariat of Association of African Universities in Accra. The first institution the Deputy Minister visited is the Secretariat for Association of African Universities. All the activities of universities on the continent will be coordinated from this building. The project manager took the minister around the project site and assured him that it will be completed by June this year. The project is estimated at a cost of 9.5 million Ghana cedis. From there, Mr. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa visited University for Professional Studies, where he inspected a 6-floor multi-purpose library where 75% of work is complete. The library was built at a cost of 12 million cedis and has a seating capacity of 1,300 students. According to Director of Works at the University for Professional Studies, Mr. Edward Ojija, the project was started with internally generated funds and was later assisted by the GET Fund. Mr. Ojija said hopefully in 4 weeks' time, the library will be in use. The next institution the minister visited was the Accra College of Education, where he inspected half-completed auditorium and a demonstration school building. The school will help the trainee teachers undertake their practicals. The principal of the school, Madam Christiana Henaku Bampo, said the project will be completed by April this year. Briefing the media after the tour, Mr. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa said these projects, when complete, will impact positively on education in the country.
It shows a great deal of commitment on the part of government because, you see, it's not only about carrying out projects, but it's also about prioritizing the projects and carrying out strategic projects. I mean, you can't have a university without a library, and a library which is of befitting status, and that's what UPSA is doing. You can't have a college of education where you are training your teachers without a demonstration school, and so you see that that is really critical, it's ideal, and that's why this demonstration school is being constructed. And then we didn't have an auditorium at the Accra College of Education. We are doing that, so you see that we are prioritizing our projects, and we are investing in projects that will make an impact, that will have a direct bearing on the learning experience.
All these projects are located at a place described as the Education Enclave near Legon.
This is still Ghana Television, and of course, for those who couldn't watch live the President's briefing, Ghana Television will on Sunday at 3:30 play back President John Mahamed's encounter with the media. And in other news in relation to the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, the corporation and other media institutions have been honored by the Ghana National Fire Service for promoting public awareness on hazards of fire. In view of the National Fire Service, such actions contribute significantly to the reduction in the number of fires recorded last year.
The ceremony was organized in recognition of the role various media partners have played in educating the public on the causes, prevention and the harmful impact of fires on society. In all, 16 media houses were presented with plaques and certificates. The Chief Fire Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, Dr. Albert Brown-Gazy, said acknowledging the selected media partners for their role in educating the public is necessary.
Our tradition is said that when people do good, you must applaud them. So this is a motivational effort that the institution has taken to appreciate your role as a communication institution.
The head of public relations of GBC, Madam Stephanie Baka, was grateful for the recognition by the Ghana National Fire Service. She said this will strengthen relations with the service.
I think that this award also goes a long way to sustain and maintain the relationship that we have developed over these years.
The fire personnel were also encouraged to work hard and be committed to their duties.
This is News Hour coming to you live on your news channel, GBC24 and GTV.
We'll take a break here. We'll return shortly with business news.
Good evening, it's time to do some business. My name is Esther Aidu. The Vice President, Mr. Kwesi Emisa-Arthur, has put forward proposals to achieve economic integration and single currency by 2020. Mr. Emisa-Arthur made a suggestion to a meeting of the Convergence Council in Accra and appealed to the council to consider formal devaluation rather than the creeping depreciation, judging from the exchange rate volatility and its impact on fiscal deficit.
By 2020, member states in the West African Monetary Zone, WAMS, are expected to come out with a common central bank and a single currency, which will mark the beginning of the economic integration for the sub-region to rival that of the French-speaking countries. Prior to this, member countries are expected to meet 6 different convergence criteria, which are single-digit inflation rate, central bank financing of government deficit, government budget deficit of 5% of gross domestic product, and foreign exchange reserves of more than 3 months import cover. With 4 years to the 2020 date, finance ministers, governors and experts from the West African member states have gathered in Accra to discuss progress made in macroeconomic policy and convergence criteria in West Africa. The first phase is to ensure stabilization and consolidation of the macroeconomic framework by member states from January 2017 for a sustainable growth. However, at the end of 2015, only Nigeria met all the 4 convergence criteria, making it difficult for the zone to achieve its goal by 2020. Experts say the failure of member states to meet all the convergence criteria will make it difficult for the sub-region to achieve the common central bank and the single currency. The Vice President of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Toga Gaiwia McIntosh, tasked members to put in place measures that will help solve the unemployment in the sub-region.
The twin issues of unemployment, especially youth unemployment and poverty, remain a challenge for our member states. Therefore, our focus going forward should shift from examining not only the growth figures, but also the inclusive and sustainable nature of that growth, its gender sensitivity, as well as dealing with the question of how can we ensure that that growth is broad-based and it impacts positively on poverty amongst our peoples.
The Vice President Kwesi Emisa-Arthur called on member states to find innovative ways that will enable them meet all the convergence criteria.
My major issue is on the exchange rate. And given the centrality of the exchange rate in the convergence process, its volatility in the way it transmits balance of payments to reserve accumulation, price formation, and the fiscal deficit, probably an advantage for countries to enhance currency stability by a devaluation. That may be heresy for many of us. But maybe a formal and discrete devaluation rather than a creeping depreciation with all the volatility associated with it might increase currency stability and improve process of convergence.
Analysts say the Ebola crisis and falling commodity prices also contributed to the sluggishness witnessed in the economies of some member states. But with the Ebola scourge over, the road is now clear for economic takeoff that will help quicken the pace of monetary and single currency integration.
The director of the Microfinance Supervisory Department at the Bank of Ghana, Mr. Raymond Amanfo, says due to the suit filed by the management of one of the fan clubs involved in the microfinance saga, God is Love, it will be difficult to use the monies frozen in the accounts to settle their indebtedness. Mr. Amanfo has, however, given an assurance that DKM Microfinance will start paying customers very soon after discussions are done. He also urged the people affected to allow the law to take its course.
You call DKM offices, Sika, ye, Edico Bank of Ghana. Yes, the amount. It was 5.7 million. That is the money that was counted, signed by both of us, and given back to them. Now, you can say, Omonfa Sikabe 50 million. Embetuana Yenshedi Yuntiango Foka. Yama on sa order, Machim. Sir, about regional security meeting. I'm going to say, sir, there is a problem. You are bad and say, after 3 months, they couldn't bring the money. Then the pressure started mounting. And the cigar what we are honored, move no muncha and cat. Yes, you feel said. Someone yes can be on Kahua. Never honor there and so.
The authorities at the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority, SADA, have outdoored a new document to serve as a guide to would-be investors in the Northern Savannah Ecological Zone of Ghana. Dubbed the Commercial Agriculture Investment Guide, the book highlights the enormous potential of the zone to investors. The Minister for Trade and Industry, Mr. Ekos Piogabra, described the move by SADA as one of the best ways to attract the needed investments into the country.
The SADA zone is one of the areas that has major agricultural promise that, when harnessed very well, can make Ghana less dependent on imported food items and also transform the lives of the people in the area. The zone contains some 8 million hectares of arable land, of which 3.5 million hectares are suitable for rice cultivation. The SADA zone is noted for supplying most of cereals, vegetables and tubers like rice, millet, sorghum, yams, maize, onion, cotton, shernut, among others in the country. However, one challenge with the area is lack of the needed investment that will help harness the potentials in the area. Development experts say these opportunities need to be known to the rest of the world so as to attract the right investment into the area. And in furtherance of this, the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority has developed a master plan dubbed the Commercial Agriculture Investment Guide to serve as a blueprint and guideline for the transformation of the Savannah zone. It takes into consideration the national investment policies being championed by institutions such as the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, the Ghana Tourism Authority, and the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. The guide, among others, focuses on the entire SADA zone and its economic and agricultural potentials to any investor. The chairman of the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority, Mr. Sule Adam, said the authority have initiated a number of projects that will inspire investment into the area.
It is our belief that these three pillars of the current SADA agenda, which is facilitation, catalyzation, and coordination, will lead to accelerated performance and outcomes, as well as keeping the bigger picture in the right perspective.
The Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Ahmed Yakubu Al-Hassan, said his ministry is working with SADA to maximize the resources in the area to the benefit of the people. The Minister for Trade and Industry, Ekos Piogabra, said the guide will help investors to know the kind of investment that will be needed in specific community.
If you are going to be an investor, especially in the agro sector, and you get a book of this nature that will tell you about the soil conditions and about the climatic conditions and hydrological information and for different product lines. I mean, I think there are probably more than 30 different agro produce or products that have been specifically identified for information to the investor. Your job becomes very easy.
The Commercial Agriculture Investment Guide, which hinges on transparency and professionalism, is to help chart a new path for the authority, an autonomous body responsible for harnessing the investment prospects of the area into tangible projects.
The cedi closed the week by inching up a pesewa against the dollar to trade at 3 cedi 79 pesewas. And now the rates. Light crude dipped $1.62 to trade at $29.58 a barrel. Let's have the details. And thanks for doing business with me. Have a good evening.
Welcome back. And now in the health segment, players in the poultry industry have identified poor communication as the cause for creating fear and panic on the outbreaks of the avian influenza, also known as bird flu. This, according to them, have prevented people from eating eggs and chicken, thereby collapsing the poultry industry. In view of this, a risk communication mobilization forum has been held in Accra to educate the public and the media on the disease and its risk.
Avian influenza or bird flu is a highly contagious viral disease that affects the respiratory, digestive and nervous systems of birds. In Ghana, the flu evolved for the first time in 2007 and over 10,000 birds were killed. No human cases were recorded. The disease surfaced after 8 years and affected 5 regions. Greater Accra was the hardest hit with 25 outbreak sites out of 31 outbreaks from May to December last year. Over 75,000 birds were destroyed and no human case was recorded. Apart from their loss, farmers say members of the public were misinformed about the outbreak by some media houses that attempted to provide some education about bird flu. This has affected the sale of eggs and chicken.
I want to take this opportunity to ask all stakeholders in the poultry industry to collaborate and educate the public through electronic and print media to remove the scare that is preventing some people from eating eggs and chicken, so as to save the poultry industry from total collapse.
A drama group and NGO for social change were at the forum to educate the public with a performance. Since the outbreak last year, government and development partners have provided financial and technical support to control bird flu. The Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture in charge of livestock, Dr. Hannah Bisu, said apart from the 11 million Ghana cedis released by government to curb the disease, 22 pickups and 100 motorbikes have been procured to conduct active and passive surveillance on bird flu.
The veterinary laboratory that's in Accra is well equipped with all the necessary reagents for testing for bird flu. As we speak, government is also procuring a lot of these reagents and test kits for our various labs right from Accra throughout the country to other regions.
The Ministry of Food and Agriculture will pay compensation to 9 affected sites. Meanwhile, the public has been asked to call these numbers in case of a suspected bird flu: 02020140040 or 02020199090 and 02020166060. MTN subscribers can dial 5100.
A 29-year-old woman, Mrs. Benita Dankwa, who is paralyzed, is appealing for assistance to enable her cover her cost of treatment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Benita, who was 7 months pregnant, was shot in the chest by unknown assailants on the night of the 29th of August last year at Community 11 Tema. She was rushed to the Tema General Hospital and later transferred to Kolebu Teaching Hospital for treatment. She says the cost of treatment is high and she cannot cater for a 3-month-old baby. She is therefore appealing to the public for assistance to defray the cost of her treatment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And also in health, officials in Sierra Leone have confirmed a death from Ebola hours after the World Health Organization declared the latest West Africa outbreak over. The country was declared free of the virus on the 7th of November, and the region as a whole was cleared when Liberia was pronounced Ebola-free on Thursday. Tests on the person who died in northern Sierra Leone proved positive. The WHO has warned, however, that more flare-ups are expected. Close to 4,000 people have died of Ebola in Sierra Leone and 11,000 people across the region since December 2013. Liberia was the last country to see the end of active transmission of Ebola, but it had been declared twice before, only for the infection to re-emerge. And in France, a clinical trial of a new drug has left 1 person brain dead and another 5 people in hospital in serious condition. France Health Minister said the drug was administered to some 90 people. The oral trial, which has now been suspended, was conducted by a private laboratory. Reports that the drug is a cannabis-based painkiller have been denied by the health ministry. The Paris prosecutor's office said an investigation had been opened. The trial was conducted by BioTrial, the French-based company with an international reputation, which has carried out thousands of trials since it was set up in 1989. In a message on its website, the company said serious adverse events related to the test drug had occurred. And that was Health, brought to you by FPAC. FPAC blows your pain away. We'll be right back.
Many thanks for staying with us. And in what's happening on the international front, the United Nations says it has evidence that Burundi's security forces gang raped women while searching the homes of suspected opposition leaders. The UN said in a statement that security forces separated the women and raped them. It said it had documented 13 cases of sexual violence. Violence has escalated in Burundi since President Pierre Nkurunziza announced he would run for a third term. He survived a coup attempt in May and secured a third term in disputed elections in July. The UN Human Rights Chief has said the abuses took place immediately after rebel attacks in December against 3 military camps in the country's capital, Bujumbura. The UN believes the army is taking revenge for the attacks.
Al-Shabaab militants have overrun an African Union military base outside the southern Somali town of El Ad. The Islamist group says it had taken complete control of the AU camp and killed more than 60 Kenyan soldiers. Residents said Al-Shabaab had raised its flag at a camp for Kenyan troops and said insurgents had paraded bodies through the town. But Kenya's army spokesman said it was a nearby Somali base that was stormed and Kenyan troops counterattacked. Kenyan military spokesman Colonel David Obonyo said in a statement that the number of casualties on both sides was not known. He said reports of high Kenyan casualties were normal propaganda from Al-Shabaab.
And away from Africa, the Swiss government has defended its law requiring asylum seekers to hand over assets in excess of $1,000 following international criticism of similar proposals in Denmark. Assets were reportedly seized in just over 100 cases in Switzerland last year out of almost 30,000 asylum applicants. The Swiss Refugee Council had criticized the practice as unworthy, but the government says the policy reflects the will of the Swiss voters. The UN Refugee Agency and human rights groups have condemned Danish proposals to seize migrants' cash and other individual items worth more than 10,000 krona to pay for their stay. Danish MPs debated the plans on Wednesday, and the bill is expected to be voted on later in the month. And very shortly, Theophilus Sampa will be joining us with the sports news. Do stay.
Good evening. Let's get active with sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. This is in partnership with Tobinco Pharmaceuticals Limited, producers of Lonat and Tornado Bitters. The date for the start of the 2015-2016 Premier League is not yet known. This has created problems for some teams and especially coaches and players. We'll bring you insight into how some coaches are coping without the league.
It's frustrating, especially for the technical team, because you are afraid to load them, overload them, and you are afraid to and so it's a bit difficult and frustrating.
In fact, if I have to be blunt, it is very, very, very frustrating. It saps the players' energy, it saps their enthusiasm, it affects almost everybody on board. It affects the media coverage, it affects the supporters from going to the games, and it affects management because it puts unnecessary pressure, burden on their resources.
We are in a difficult situation when we don't have a date. Yeah, it is very difficult, but the only thing you have to do is you have to sack them. When they know that the date can come at any time, then they are self-disciplined with themselves, and it's good for you. Anytime you look at the level is okay, and that will help. But it is very difficult under such situation, very, very difficult.
Actually, it's not an issue. I don't see it as an issue. As far as we know the league is going to start, it's not an issue. We are just preparing for the league. This time around, Liberty is not going to add up to the numbers. We are going to make an impact.
We are emerging out of the preseason, preparing and waiting for the league to start. But it looks as if we don't have the date to start the league. So we are in between the preseason and the season. So it's making the planning a little bit difficult and trickish, but we are trying to manage the situation.
Yeah, in fact, it's very, very bad, you know, and I don't know the cause or anything, but we the clubs, we own the league. We should be, you know, pushing for this thing, but I don't know what is happening. But as I said before, one has to be cautious.
Let's still stay in Accra. Former Black Stars captain Stephen Appiah says he has invited some of the world's renowned footballers for the grand launch of a football fiesta aimed at promoting peace and unity ahead of the 2016 general elections in November.
Hi Ghana, I'm Stephen Appiah, former Black Stars captain. Ghana gave me the chance to show the world what I'm capable of through football. Being an election here, I've taken it upon myself to be a unity ambassador for Ghana. I want to use the power of football to remind Ghanaians that we need unity. I invited former Arsenal player Sol Campbell and former Middlesbrough player George Boateng.
Hi Ghana, I'm Sol Campbell, former Arsenal player. I'll be joining Stephen Appiah and George Boateng in Accra.
Hi, I'm George Boateng, former Aston Villa and Middlesbrough captain. I'll be joining Sol Campbell and Stephen Appiah
to join me to launch the Unity March 2016 and have a forum at the banquet hall of the State House on Monday, January 18 at 6 p.m. See you there.
The Minister for Youth and Sports, Dr. Mustafa Ahmed, has described the death of Ghanaian boxing trainer Godwin Nijani Kote, aka Aluwe, as a big blow to Ghana sport. Aluwe died last weekend in Accra, aged 56. A high-powered delegation from the Ministry of Youth and Sports, led by the Minister, Dr. Mustafa Ahmed, Chief Director, Mr. Holasenaya, the Deputy Director General of the National Sports Authority, Mr. Sakakwe, the President of the Ghana Amateur Boxing Federation, Gideon Kote, and a host of others have visited the family of the deceased legendary Ghanaian boxing trainer, Godwin Nijani Kote, known in boxing circles as Coach Aluwe. Coach Aluwe is credited to have trained many generations of Ghanaian boxers. The elder brother of the deceased, Mr. Aaron Amon Kote, revealed that a date is yet to be fixed for the burial and funeral rite and will inform the ministry when the decision is taken. The minister and the Deputy Director General of the National Sports Authority promised to work hand in hand to give him a befitting burial. After signing the book of condolence, the minister described the departure of Coach Aluwe as a big blow.
His demise is indeed a great loss to our nation and indeed to the entire boxing world. The names you mentioned and a lot more. Indeed, he trained many great boxers, many of whom rose to fame and, won a number of trophies, both within the country, in Africa, and the entire world. His works, I believe, will remain, will survive, as we remember him for the good work that he's done. His sacrifices will not be in vain. I believe that all this should spur us on to even focus a lot more on boxing and do what it is that will propel the industry forward and also to produce a lot more great boxers so that as a way we can, as it were, pay tribute to this great hero of boxing fame.
Some of the boxers Coach Aluwe have trained included Azuma Nelson, Joshua Clotte, Joseph Agbeko, Nanaya Okunidu, Obuda Sai, George Ashi, among others. Finally, an international upgrading course is underway for handball coaches in the country. The course is expected to boost the Handball at Schools project, which is set to start this year. More than 70 tutors of physical education and handball coaches from the Greater Accra, Volta, and Eastern regions are benefiting from an intense 3-day course at the Accra Sports Stadium. This is in line with a new global standard where the IHF is focusing on getting children at school-going age to be taught the right way in playing the game. Launching the program, the Deputy Director General of the National Sports Authority, Saka Akweyi, charged participants to be agents of change.
The technical department, we are in contact with most of the embassies, and they have assured us that they will avail us those chances so that those of you who excel will have the chance to do other courses outside the country.
The course instructor, Louise Estrega, said she expects participants to raise the standard of the game in the country.
We must know handball. We must know the best handball that we have in the world, and look to that and to think how can we decrease the complexity and the demanding of this game to teach this handball at schools.
From Accra, the course instructor will head to the Western region from the 18th to the 21st before ending at Bogatanga from the 21st to the 24th. At the end of the course, certificates will be presented to participants who excel in both practical and theoretical examinations. That's all for sports.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the art segment. My name is Valerie Danso. Today on the segment, we are looking at some songs which have been listed as the top 5 most aired songs in 2015. That's all from this segment. Have a good evening.
And that's all in this news package. Many thanks for your time. We'll be back for News Tonight.